Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Gurudev. Hare Krishna and welcome everyone. So this month is we had Gita Jayanti recently. So this month reading Bhagavad Gita, sharing Bhagavad Gita and distributing Bhagavad Gita, gifting Bhagavad Gita is very powerful and auspicious. So all of you can take extra copies of Bhagavad Gita from, ISKCON temple, or you can let me know and I can arrange copies. I have quite a few, and we can make sure that everybody has uh, extra copies of the Bhagavad Gita, and they can share with other people, gift it to them, or distribute or sell, whatever way they can make more and more people aware about the science. That is beneficial. And of course you can also share this link from people, the link which we are using to read. So this particular month is very auspicious for specifically for reading, hearing, discussing Bhagavad Gita, because Gita Jayanti happened in this month. So we had a little pause last couple of weeks. So I'll just quickly mention about where we are, so that everybody, so that our memories are refreshed. So first chapter Bhagavad Gita, we all know how it started with Dhritarashtra asking, and Sanjay was narrating what was happening. Initially, Sanjay was seeing how Duryodhana is comparing both the armies and mentioning it to um, his people in his army, Dronacharya and others. And then we see that Arjun, he is in a situation where he is analyzing also. But Arjun, he is full of compassion, and he's feeling that he may not be able to fight. And he gave various reasons why this particular war which they are leading to can be devastating for the whole world. So in this way, Arjuna is thinking, maybe I should not fight. And then Krishna is the one to whom he turns and expresses his dilemma. So this is what's going on in the first chapter. Arjuna is giving all the different arguments. In the second chapter, when he speaks to Krishna, Krishna at that time smilingly responds to Arjun by telling the whole situation from a higher perspective, at a higher realm than what Arjuna is viewing it from. And Krishna explains that how it is very important at different levels for Arjun to participate in doing his duty as Kshatriya, and those who think or give reasons for going away from battle, they are actually not Kshatriyas. They are not really befitting the role, and Arjun has to do his duty. Moreover, the consequences which Arjun is fearful about, which is which is basically the killing, Krishna goes deeper to the science of body and the science of soul, and he gives the knowledge about the different characteristics and properties of the soul. And Krishna tells Arjun that doing his duty is most appropriate. Karma yoga is the technical Sanskrit word used for this. It can be sakam karma yoga, with desires, fruitative desires. So Krishna says sakam karma yoga, if we see from that platform, then you should fight. But higher than that is to see it from nishkam karma yoga. And from that perspective also, Arjun must fight. And then Arjun asks, what are the symptoms of a person who is spiritually advanced? And then Krishna describes all of that. And then we come to the third chapter. So third chapter is where we were. And in the third chapter, it starts by Arjun asking another question. Arjun is now confused because Krishna during the second chapter had mentioned to give up the bad activities. And from bad activities, Krishna was actually talking about selfish activities, while Arjun is thinking bad activities means the war. And then Arjun is thinking, then why you are making me engaged in the war? And then Arjun is saying, I'm bewildered. So Krishna at that time explains that how there are different natures of different people. There is a path of Jnana Yoga, and then there is a path of Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. And Krishna is saying here that one should not act like a pretender. One should not act in a way of tyag or sannyas when inner transformation is not there. So what Krishna is basically encouraging Arjuna is that if one's nature is to be active in a certain manner, that should be done in accordance with dharma. And Krishna explains that doing your duty as a sacrifice to the Lord is the best way of conducting the duty rather than running away from the duty because of seeing the side effects or the consequences of doing that particular duty. So it must be done as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. And then Krishna is explaining how the living entity is created, the demigods are created, and the provision of yajna is there. How yajna must be done as a sacrifice to higher beings, which is demigods and Lord Vishnu. And when that is done, then the demigods will satisfy the living entities. So this is how one is able to get into the cycle of yajna process. Now, when Krishna explains to Arjun this particular concept, we have to understand in Vedic culture, there is encouragement, there is incentive of making us rise spiritually. Like, for example, some people may not be having inclination for doing the best thing. So the Vedic culture has a provision that, okay, if you don't do best, no problem. Do better than what you are doing right now. Like, for example, I'm just going to take a basic example. Somebody may be engaged in certain activities, let's say drinking alcohol or smoking cigarette or taking drugs or even for that matter taking non-veg. So different people may have these habits. Now these are gross habits, these are visible habits, but then there are subtle habits like um, having our heart feeling envy, jealousy, pride, um, criticism of others. So these are internal habits which we have inculcated over a period of time. So what in Vedic system is done is encouragement is done that, okay, if you can't stop smoking from 20 cigarettes a day, the encouragement is, okay, at least do 15. If you can't do 15, at least do 16. So do something better than where you are. Like, for example, certain people, they say, I eat meat. So they say, okay, no problem. At least on Tuesday you avoid. Or at least on this festival, Navratri, you avoid. So this is basically encouraging them to come from where they are to a higher level. This is just external. This is important, but more important than that is also internal. When we are engaged in different sacrifices or different processes, we also have a way of cleansing the heart, and that is by chanting the mantras. There are different mantras, there are different rituals or processes which are meant to cleanse the heart. So it may not happen suddenly that we directly do it at the highest level, but we come out of where we are and go higher, come out of the comfort zone and try to advance. So this is how Krishna is mentioning that these demigods, when you do sacrifice for them, the demigods give you something in return, and this is how they can live happily, the humans and devatas and all of that. And some people, they may not do it, and that is uh, considered a source of getting karmic reactions. When we keep taking from this material world, from Mother Nature, from all the resources which Lord has provided, and we don't do a yagya or don't give it back, that is basically 13th shloka. He's saying, verily eat only sin. So just like for a basic example, if you are offering, we offer the food to Krishna and then we accept, then that is prasad, then that is purifying. But if it is actually not offered and we are taking, then it has karmic reactions. Now, if it is non-veg, then karmic reactions will be similar to the pain to the animal. But if it is vegetarian, even then the karmic reactions will be there, but it will be in correspondence to how much it affected the other living entity. And since plants don't have as much pain as the animals, so the reaction, karmic reaction, may be a little lower, but it will still be there. So best is to offer it to the Lord. Best is to be in the process of yagya. Now, even for those who are eating non-veg, there is a process of how offering has to be done in certain manner. Even in other religion, for example, Islam or uh, uh, Jews, they have concept of halal and kosher, and basically what it is that unrestricted animal killing should be avoided, and it has to be done in a certain manner by which people can limit this. So we see many people, like even Muslims, and when they go out, they take vegetarian food instead of non-veg because they say we don't know if it is halal or not. So this is different ways in which one is encouraged to advance spiritually. And in this way, when one actually takes the process of yagya and do the sacrifices, that actually helps the whole environment. And even the very basic things like grains, they are actually produced by rains, and rains are produced by yagya or sacrifice. Now, yagyas can be different types, sacrifice can be different types, but in Kali Yuga, the recommendation from Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures is to follow what is called as Sankirtan Yagya, where one glorifies the Lord. And these powerful sound vibrations are very, very purifying and transforming the heart. They act like surgeon doing the surgery for the heart and cleansing the heart. Then Krishna explains that how such regulative activities are there in the Vedas, and Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. And Krishna is saying, one who follows this cycle of sacrifice established in the Vedas leads a life, who does not follow, leads the life of sin and lives only for the satisfaction of the senses. Such person lives in vain. So basically, Arjuna should not be like that person. Arjuna should do his duty and perform the necessary uh, dharma which a Kshatriya must do. Now, Krishna is talking about another personality. 17th shloka, he is saying, one who takes pleasure in self, whose life is one of self realization and who is situated in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. So one has to first come to that platform before one can give up their duty. And even though they may not have duties, still they will actually engage in their duties. And then Krishna will give the example of the famous King Janak. So in this way, Krishna is saying that even those who do not need to perform the duty, still they are doing it to set an example for others to follow. So like that, Krishna is actually explaining to Arjun. So we will go forward and read the shlokas in detail, but I'll take a pause and see if anybody has any questions, comments, or any points to share so far, or anything anybody wants to ask from the first and second chapter.
I have one quick question. I know we had discussed this before, but there's always this word sacrifice confuses me. I know I had asked you this question before, but um, I was perceiving this word sacrifice as a yagna or do the service of the Lord. But now I'm a little bit more confused. So I don't know why this word sacrifice is used if it is joyful to pray the God, and if it is not yagna, then what it is exactly.
Yeah. So sacrifice word is yagya in this context, but the yagya can be of different types. Yagya can be either a fire yagya like a homa or a havan, but yagya can also be of without the fire. Like for example, in the 10th chapter, Krishna says amongst all the yagyas, who is Krishna? Japa Yagyosmi. Japa Yagyosmi means chanting of the holy name. So that is also a yagya or a sacrifice. Now, a sacrifice does not mean it cannot be joyful. Sacrifice means for conditioned soul, it is not as joyful as material things. Like for us, if we don't have any taste in spiritual activities, then we will not be able to enjoy the sacrifice. But for those who has developed the spiritual understanding, transformation of heart, and they have their material habits have actually improved, they start developing taste for the sacrifice. So even for yagya or homa, certain people have very high propensity of doing yagya. They like to do yagyas, agni yagya, homa, havan every day or regularly. Uh, so that is because they have developed that. Similarly, there are different sacrifices. There are different types of yagyas, and one of them is Harinam Sankirtan Yagya, where we are doing kirtan, we are doing chanting, we are doing dancing. Now one can say, oh, if it is joyful, then how, why is it sacrifice? Well, it may be joyful for certain people who have overcome the propensity of material conditioning, but not for everybody. And even for those who are in the process of purifying, it is not joyful every single minute. It may be joyful on certain days, but on other days it may not be, because one is in the process of complete purification. Does it answer your question, Madhuri?
Yes, it does. In a way, succinctly, it sounds like it is social in nature.
It is
When you
what?
say it is social in nature, that it is not good for some, but it is good for some. But when it is not good for some, um, they are encouraged to go through the process.
Yeah. So
Or yeah,
it's actually good for everyone, but some
no, no,
people
no,
do
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah, I get it.
actually
It's
perceive the happiness right away.
yeah, sure. Yes, sorry, I said it little. I didn't say it correct. So yes, I think,
Now I'll give
but
you another example.
mhm,
Like in Islam they use the one qurbani, right?
yes,
Qurbani. Have you heard this word?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So what is kurbani?
Sacrificing.
uh, you have to have sacrifice, but then they go, when they use the word kurbani, they are killing the goat and different such, animals, sometimes cows and all. But what is the kurbani in that? Are they feeling the pain? Kurbani means it has to have some sort of a pain. So in that particular setting, when you see, the whole process was actually meant where you should have the pain. So I'm just contrasting both the things, that even the words are meaning the similar, but there is difference in their understanding and practical application. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, just 1 second.
This is a nightmare. Flat pancake is your fault. I have no clothes.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, any other questions anybody has? Okay, so I think we have read till in the last sections we had read till we were here in the 16th, 17th, 18th section. So we'll start with 17th. I've already summarized first chapter, second chapter, in the beginning of third chapter. So we'll do this. This is an important shloka and we'll move ahead. Is that all right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Great. Please repeat after me. यस्त्व आत्मरतिरेव स्यात् यस्त्व आत्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवा आत्मतृप्तश्च
आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः
आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टस्
आत्मन्ये
आत्मन्येव
एव च सन्तुष्टः
तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते
तस्य
तस्य कार्यं न
कार्यं
विद्यते.
Any volunteers who would like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Translation. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. Purport. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of yagna performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, women, and similar infatuation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, here Krishna is contrasting. He's telling Arjun that how one should work, and now he's saying about a person who is highly self realized and highly advanced. And such a person, he's saying he doesn't really have any duty to perform. Why is he saying? We will get to know in subsequent shlokas uh, what exact point Krishna is making. So we'll continue to read. Please repeat. नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतेनेह कश्चन
न कृतेनेह कश्चन
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु न
न
चास्य
च
नाचस्य
सर्वभूतेषु
सर्वभूतेषु
कश्चिद् अर्थव्यपाश्रया कश्चिन्.
काचित्
कश्चित् अर्थव्यपाश्रयः.
Okay, who would like to read this one?
Haribol, I can read.
Please.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living. Purport. A self realized man is no longer obliged to perform any subscribed duty, save and accept activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not in activity either. As will be explained in the following verses, a Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man, or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of its obligation. Haribol.
Right. Okay, great. So it's the same point that a person who's highly self-realized, who is actually having direct connection with the Paramatma, with the Lord, with Krishna, this person is not really dependent on anybody. He's only having the relationship with the Lord. Um, one can say, hey, where do we find such people? Yeah, such people are very rare, not easily to be found. Only when we are serious and sincere, then we'll be connected to such a person. But the point which Krishna is making is going to be revealed in subsequent shlokas. So let's keep reading. तस्मात् असक्त सततम कार्यम कर्म समाचरा कार्यम कर्म
Samachara.
असक्तो हि अचरन् कर्म
असक्तो हि अचरन् कर्म
परम आपनोति पुरुषः.
परम आपनोति पुरुषः.
Okay, any volunteers who would like to read the translation purport?
I can read.
Okay, please.
Translation. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Purport. The Supreme is the personality of Godhead for the devotees and liberation for the impersonalists. A person, therefore, acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness, under proper guidance and without attachment to the result of the work, is certainly making progress toward the supreme goal of life. Arjuna is told that he should fight in the battle of Kurukshetra for the interest of Krishna because Krishna wanted him to fight. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment, but to act on behalf of the Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is perfect action of the highest degree, recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Vedic rituals like prescribed sacrifices are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification. But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result but acts on behalf of Krishna alone. He engages in all kinds of activities but is completely non attached. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So here Krishna is telling Arjun that if one is not attached, without any attachment to fruitive activities. So previously we've heard how Krishna was telling that one should not hanker around the results of the activities. One should not be attached to the results. And same point he's making, if one is not attached to the result and acting as a matter of duty, by working without attachment, one can actually attain the supreme. And in this purport, Prabhupada is explaining about the devotees and those who are advanced spiritually. So, devotee word is used in different situations for different understanding. But here, Prabhupada, when he is using the word devotees, he is using about the one who's pure devotee, who's advanced spiritually, who's very much having the highest realm of spiritual enlightenment. So, such a person is in Krishna consciousness, being properly guided by the Lord, the scriptures, by the great personalities, and he's following their recommendations. So, in that setting, he's having or she's having a direct connection with the Lord. Arjun is recommended to fight. And why? Because he should do it as a matter of duty. Kshatriya Dharma is there to protect, and the protection of the king, of the people, the praja, is not happening properly. So Arjun has to take care of that. If Arjun acts as a non-violent person, then he may do it like sometimes, people for some prize, some Nobel Prize or some other, recognition or something, they may do things which may not be the need of the hour. They may not be appropriate for a Kshatriya to be acting. So that's what Krishna is kind of mentioning to Arjun, that his duty is to follow the dharma and he should conduct that. And in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning how a Krishna conscious person will actually perform the activity as a matter of duty, and not thinking that, oh, by killing them I will enjoy the kingdom and I will be the one who will become the king. No, you're doing it as a duty. Even if you win, it is a duty you have to perform for all the people in the kingdom. So do it as a matter of duty and not be attached. So this is Krishna telling Arjun. We'll read one more shloka before we conclude, and this is going to make the point which Krishna is referring to here. So I want to cover this one. कर्मण्यैव हि संसिद्धिं
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
आस्थिता जनकादया
आस्थिता जनकादया
लोकसङ्ग्राहमेवापि
लोकसङ्ग्राहम् एवापि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि.
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुम् अर्हसि.
Who will read the translation?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Kings such as Janak attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Purport. Kings like Janaka were all self-realized souls. Consequently, they had no obligation to perform the prescribed duties in the Vedas. Nonetheless, they performed all prescribed activities just to set examples for the people in general. Janaka was the father of Sita and father-in-law of Lord Sri Ram. Being a great devotee of the Lord, he was transcendently situated, but because he was the king of Mithila, a subdivision of Bihar province in India, he had to teach his subjects how to perform prescribed duties. Lord Krishna and Arjun the Lord's eternal friend, had no need to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, but they fought to teach people in general that violence is also necessary in a situation where good arguments fail. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid the war, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the other party was determined to fight. So, for such a right cause, there is a necessity for fighting. Although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced persons in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow, and this is explained in the following verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes. So this is the point that even great kings, Krishna is giving an example of Raja Janak, that he performed duty not because they needed to, because they are self-realized people, but still they did it for setting a standard for others to follow. So Arjun, even if you think that I am very spiritually advanced, I don't have any duty to perform, still do it for setting a standard. Otherwise, what will people think? Arey, Arjun also had left the battle, so it's okay even if I leave from the battle. So that's inappropriate, because Kshatriyas, when Krishna will tell the in the subsequent chapters, when Krishna will tell the symptoms of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, then one of the symptom is for the Kshatriya is heroism. They never show their back in the battlefield. They always are fearless when it comes to fighting to protect dharma. The motive is not for me to enjoy, but motive is to serve the dharma. And if that is being taken care, then even fighting can't be neglected. That also has to be a part of the duty. But if fighting is being done for just my self aggrandizement, then that is not appropriate. That kind of thing is not dharma. So fighting uselessly for expansionism or one's own pride, that is not encouraged. And therefore the example Krishna is giving is of King Janak. These great personalities like King Janak and others, they are called as Raj Rishis. So even though they are rishis, but they are actually in the role of kings. They are kings conducting their daily activities in the kingdom. So in purport, Prabhupada is explaining that even though he did not have any duty to perform, he is the father of Mother Sita, father-in-law of Lord Ram, great devotee of the Lord, very advanced, king of Mithila. Uh, so as a king has to do so many duties and responsibilities. But he was a great devotee. He didn't have to do those. But still he did it to set an example for people to follow. That okay, if the king is doing, then I should also do. And like this, Krishna will explain in subsequent chapters that leaders have a role. Leaders have a big role to play because people follow the actions of the leader. Now, the leader may not necessarily have to uh, wake up early and do a particular task, but the leader may still do it to inspire the team, to actually show everyone that this is needed to be done. So, like this, Krishna is making a point for Arjun to follow. Is it making sense? What we just discussed today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, any questions, comments, any points anybody would like to bring up? All right. Well, if no questions, then I think we'll end here. We'll start next week from 21st shloka. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for joining.